Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Canal Algérie's news in English and in today's top stories. On the sidelines of his participation in the U.S.-Africa Summit, the Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman, representing the President of the Republic Abdelmajid Tebboune, recalls the vision and energy and strategy of Algeria to develop the continent. The National People's Army's strong participation in the 30th edition of the Algerian Production Fair reflects the big role that military production plays in supporting the national economy. A delegation of the Algerian Economic Renewal Council, CREA, is received by the National Confederation of French Employers, MEDEF, in Paris, where cooperation agreement is signed between the two parties. Lastly, we head to Béjaïa, the province of culture and sciences, where the participants in the International Forum on Imam al-Maghili expressed their admiration of the cultural sites and the province's rich history. Good evening, those were today's headlines. First of all, on the sidelines of his participation in the U.S.-Africa Summit in his capacity as representative of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman, and during his speech, recalled Algeria's positions for a stable and prosper Africa. The Algerian Premier reminded the participants of the efforts made by our country in this direction and the new vision of the new Algeria. Report by our correspondent to Washington, Fatima Adib, and commentary by Rania Al-Bahri.
The proceeding, which took place behind closed doors, was devoted to high-level debates and discussions between African heads of state and government and senior U.S. officials. Africa advocated for fair governance, calling for granting the African continent a permanent seat on the Security Council, diversifying and expanding U.S. investments in Africa to encompass infrastructure based on its weight, its diplomatic strength, and its security. Political and economic approach for peaceful solutions to conflicts in Africa, Algeria has put forward its efforts to achieve efficient investments, responding to its development strategies. I was very honored to represent the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, at the proceedings of the United States-Africa Summit, the first day of which was devoted to the Afro-American Business Forum. Algeria took part in the proceeding of a workshop on the financing of infrastructure projects, the digital and energy transitions in Africa. We highlighted Algeria's efforts to improve the business climate in order to diversify our economy and find new sources of financing for these development projects. We also mentioned what has been done in a very short period of time in terms of legislative framework, in particular through the adoption of new investment code and its implementing texts in accordance with the international standards in force. Due to its African expanse, Algeria has put the interests of the African continent among its important priorities through strategic projects within the framework of African integration policy. We have highlighted all the efforts made by Algeria in particular to put an end to the problems facing development. In this context, a comprehensive multi-sectoral development process has been developed. According to the testimonies of international institutions, Algeria has recorded the best results on continental scale. We also raised the problems of development in Africa and all things that can hinder this development at the continental level, in particular that of debt. We also call on speakers on a world scale to work together to free African countries from debts. Consider the continent of the future aspires today a real accompaniment and support from the United States, but also real support which goes beyond the demonstration of good intentions.
On the sidelines of his participation in the U.S.-Africa Summit, the Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman met on Thursday in Washington the chairman of the Presidential Council of Libya, Mohammed Yunus al-Menfi. The meeting was an opportunity for both parties to express their satisfaction of the brotherly and historical solidarity links binding both brotherly people and to discuss ways and means to strengthen bilateral cooperation in many fields. Both parties also reviewed the latest developments in Libya and the perspectives initiatives for the settlement of the Libyan crisis on the basis of dialogue and national reconciliation without foreign interferences to preserve the unity of Libya, its interests, as well as its territorial integrity. A delegation of the Algerian Economic Renewal Council, CREA, was received by the National Confederation of French Employers, MEDEF, in Paris. A cooperation agreement was signed between the two parties concerning co-production in the agri-food, energy and health sectors. More details with Manal Ammari.
To implement the decisions taken by the two heads of state, Abdelmajid Tebboune and Emmanuel Macron, of dedicating a new chapter to strengthening a special partnership is the aim of the agreement signed on Friday between the Algerian and French Employers Confederations, namely the National Confederation of French Employers, MEDEF, and the Algerian Economic Renewal Council, CREA.
À partir de cette grande volonté aujourd'hui, donc il y a une signature de convention entre.
A cooperation agreement was signed between the CREA and the MEDEF to work towards a win-win partnership of co-production. We targeted a few high-priority projects which focus on food security, energy security, as well as health security. We will identify companies on both sides to support them.
C'est sécurité sanitaire. Donc c'est un peu les projets qui sont prioritaires. Donc on va identifier les entreprises.
A roadmap full of operational issues centered on cooperation, responsiveness and determination. The work method used between the two employers was also reviewed for more targeted exchanges between partners in each sector.
Le nom de CREA, c'est le renouveau économique. Et donc,
CREA means economic renewal in our relations. We addressed many issues concerning the automobile and health sectors, as well as issues related to sovereignty, particularly food security, which concerns both countries.
Entre entreprises des deux pays.
These meetings brought together the CREA delegation and Olivier Becht, the French Foreign Trade Minister, who expressed his readiness to contribute to the promotion of economic activities between the two countries by considering Algeria a quintessential investment hub.
The CREA delegation was also received in Bercy at the Ministry of Finance. As part of the 30th edition of the Algerian Production Fair, the military industry of the National People's Army exhibited its different products to the general public and to professionals alike. More on the strategy of the High Command of the National People's Army to develop the industrial field with Amal Isseridir in this story taken up by Sabrin Tafrikinit.
The military industry, and through its various establishments, contributes for some years now to the consolidation and development of the national economy.
Canal Mechanical Engineering Company is a public industrial and commercial establishment specialized in the firearms industry. In addition to firearms, the company produces mechanical spare parts and several kinds of cutting tools, in particular inspection tools, press and fixing and part holders for its internal needs, and also for the needs of national and private companies as well. The main goal of our participation in this event is to introduce our company, our products, our production capacities also. It's an opportunity for the national and private companies to benefit from our experience and services, especially in the mechanical industry. And it's an occasion for the Algerian citizens to witness the quality of our 100% Algerian-made products.
The Mechanical Industry Promotion Group is a public institution with an industrial and commercial character, with the aim to cover the National People's Army needs in terms of machines and engines. The second goal is to ensure the subcontracting in the mechanical industry field for military and civilians in the local market. Developing the various military industries, in particular the automotive industry, is a priority for the High Command of the National People's Army, in order to meet the needs of the structures of the National People's Army and the various public, private, economic enterprises.
Dans cette foire, nous avons l'occasion de représenter nos différents produits.
It is the occasion to present our products, the commercial vehicle, trucks, transport vehicles, tanks. Our company aims to supply the Algerian market and increase the integration rate.
Le marché algérien avec tout produit et augmenter le taux d'intégration.
The participation of the various production units of the NPA at the Algerian Production Fair allows the introduction of the products reflecting the high military manufacturing level in the different sectors, which contributes to the consolidation of national economy.
In this same topic, the 30th edition of the Algerian Production Fair, a stand of the National People's Army, particularly attracts curious visitors and aviation enthusiasts. It is the Air Force stand with the technical, technological, and defensive capabilities of our air system is proudly displayed. Report by Wasila Bouchwareb and commentary by Rania Al-Bahri.
Safir 43 and Firnas 142, two airplanes manufactured in Algeria and used in the training of apprentice pilots of the air forces. Through this stand, the air forces promote their products and know-how. We have seen a large influx of curious citizens. All want to know more about what this company does, especially with regard to the manufacture of aircrafts, but also on the command of the air forces with the orientations of the National People's Army at their head, the General of the Army. We organize open days throughout the year. We have reached the rate of 100% integration with an Algerian workforce composed of specialists and engineers in aeronautics and other specialties. Among others, the establishment for the renovation of specific equipments also did not fail to mark its presence during this event. Our primary mission is to renovate, repair and modernize the surveying methods. And it is the Aeronautical Equipment Renovation Establishment which is responsible for maintaining the Air Force planes and manufacturing the necessary accessories and components. We take care of the general maintenance and the modernization of all kinds of aircrafts, whether combat or transport aircrafts or others. This is the sixth consecutive participation for the Air Force in the Algerian Production Fair, a participation marked by a multitude of products and materials exposed to the heights of visitors' expectations.
Several companies in the provinces of Mila and Jijil respectively aim to boost the national economy through the creation of direct and indirect job positions. Manal Ammari has more.
The plant producing domestic heaters in the Ferjiwa municipality, located in Mila province, also started producing wall-mounted boilers with a production capacity of 5,000 units per year, in addition to its annual production of natural gas heaters amounting to 50,000 units per year. Now that natural gas is found in various cities as well as the countryside, we doubled our production of domestic heaters. This year we also started producing a highly requested product, that is wall-mounted boilers. However, the factory is facing issues in importing the carbon monoxide detector that is sold alongside the heaters. Our citizens' lives are priceless. There are no issues on the government side. We will try to resolve the situation as soon as possible. The Algerian Mechanical Grease and Automotive Maintenance Materials Company in the municipality of Shelghoum El Eid is a new investment combining 12 global brands, which reinforce the natural market despite various obstacles. We saw a dynamic between investors in joining forces through collective participation from investors with money, as well as the governor and the municipality, which is also required in other areas. In a similar context, the project to complete a factory for the production and conversion of fruits and vegetables in Jijil province is one of the most important investment projects, with a fast construction pace according to a well-thought-out action plan to boost national economy. The President of the Republic affirmed the procedures to accelerate and complete this large project, specialized in the production of vegetable oils and fodder, that will meet the local market's needs in order to head towards exports, in addition to the creation of 350 direct job positions and 2,500 indirect job positions. Several agreements were signed and several others will be signed early next year. It is a promising project that will be handed over at the end of the year. All the containers that were at the harbor were put through customs by the MADA company, and now we're extracting those equipments. Jijil province strives to achieve a balance between agriculture and industry through these projects in order to boost revenues from the national economy.
Lastly, let's head to a province that combines tourism, history and culture, Bijaya, where the participants in the Imam al-Maghili Forum, who traced back his passage in Bijaya, also had the chance to visit some of the cultural sites rich in science and history. More in this coverage of Malik Dirahmoun, taken up by Sabrin Taferginit.
Bijaya, capital of Hamadites, pole of science and Arab Muslim culture, was an important stage in the rich career of Imam Muhammad bin Abdul Karim al-Maghili. He took the destination of Bijaya to enrich his knowledge with his scholars such as Abdurrahman al-Talbi and Sheikh bin Yahya Yadir. Apart Makan de Medina, I have never visited such a place. It is fascinating for all the inhabitants of West Africa or Africa in general. We visited schools and very beautiful sacred places like mosques. The descendants of Muhammad bin Abdul Karim al-Maghili came from everywhere to visit one of the most significant stations in the history of this grand Imam.
Imam al-Maghili
came in the 9th century, a time when science had begun to gain in importance. So he learned a lot with its scholars. It is one of the most important stations of Sheikh al-Maghili. He studied and obtained diplomas in Bijaya. Our presence here is a real honor. As the grandson of Imam al-Maghili, we are very proud of this honorable career.
نحن كأحفاد الإمام محمد بن عبد الكريم المغيلي.
جينا إلى هنا فقط من أجل أن نمر
We are here in the footsteps of this great scholar who devoted his life to the Islamic religion and the unification of Africans. The knowledge legacy he left for us made him always present among us. It is an honor for us, and we have learned a lot from Imam al-Maghili. After an honorable career marked by his approach for unity and peace in Africa, he passed away in 1504 in Adrar and was buried in Zawiya Kunta, leaving a legacy of more than 24 works.
And with that, our news edition comes to a close. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.